You know where you are? You're in the Guns and Radio podcast, baby. You're gonna die.
Welcome to episode number 45 of the Guns and Radio podcast. As always, each and every single Monday, I'm Chris Caputo.
And I'm Dustin. Bonez. Welcome to the show. Today we're going to be listening to Automatic Overdrive. We've got a special guest that's going to be joining us tonight. That's comedian and host of Weird AF News, and that is Jonsey. He's going to come a little bit later. He's going to tell us about, he tells us about a lot of cool stuff, man. We had a great conversation with him. And he's going to talk about what it's like to travel, being a comedian. He was actually overseas, traveling in Asia, when touring in Asia when the coronavirus broke out. So he's got some stories about that. He's going to talk about what it was like over there in Japan and Singapore and all these places versus America when he got back. So that's going to be really interesting. But first, we got to say thank you to you guys for helping us meet our bonus show goals.
Yeah, we just hit 150 Twitter followers out of the blue. I was like, oh shit, let's put up a poll for a bonus show. And so you're going to get that very soon.
Yeah, and it's going to be, we kind of talk about it in the Beautiful Dangerous episode in the shit that we recorded like 2 seconds ago to tack on at the beginning. But what we did was we took, we always have trouble coming up with concepts for you guys to vote on. So it's going to be just another episode of Guns and Radio, but we're going to guarantee a Guns N' Roses song. Mm-hmm. So we were kind of brainstorming what we could do. And so I took I took our wheel app, our lottery app, and I kind of duplicated it and then went through and took out any song that was not a Guns N' Roses song. And then I sat there and I spun it, and I kept spinning it until we got 4 songs from separate albums. And so we threw those lottery results. So that's what we ended up going with. And so you guys, that's where we got the concept for the songs that you have to choose from. So by now the poll's over, but we still want to say thank you. And that bonus show is coming up pretty soon. It'll pop up when when the poll's finished and we actually know what we're going to be reviewing and everything. Which, I mean, by the time this comes out, we'll know. But who wants to go back in and edit that again?
Yeah, jeez.
Bullshit like we know while we're recording this. Look, we don't bullshit you guys, okay? We straight up tell you how it is. This is recorded in advance before the poll is over, so you're getting a bonus show. We can tell you that much. That's true. We know that. But as far as what you're getting, at the time of this recording, we don't know. But we definitely want to tell you thank you, and for the following that we've gotten together on this podcast, it's way more than I really thought it would ever be. I mean, we're not just the creme de la creme. We're not. Nobody's like pounding on our doors asking for autographs, but they might as well be. I mean, let's get real. I mean, Caputo's maybe, but not here.
There can be people in Canada. People are too polite to knock on your door.
What do they do?
I don't know. Just it's best when you're like the Canada Post, like the UPS guys. They just leave the package. Don't even fucking knock on the door or even ring the fucking doorbell. It's like, oh, how am I supposed to know this shit's there? Like, luckily I have the Ring doorbells that detect the motion and shit, so I know when someone comes near my door. Nice. Or else, like anyone else, you wouldn't know nothing.
I got a Canadian question I need to ask you. We didn't talk about this or anything. Yeah. But I got a question I want to ask you. What is the last letter of the alphabet?
Z.
Okay, so you guys don't say Z.
Oh no, some people probably say Z. I go Z. Cause that's how the song goes. Q R S T U V W X Y and Z. It just fucking flows better.
Okay.
Music.
Okay. I always I had heard that people in Canada say Z, and I know that people in the UK say Z.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to figure out if America is the only country that has Z, or if it's called Z everywhere.
It's either or here. It's like hit or miss. I think depending how far up north you go and how like European white trash and redneck you goes, you may hear the difference. It goes Z Z Z Z Z.
So there's Zizzes. There's people that call it Z.
I don't know, probably.
Z.
Probably those some fucking rural farmers just discovered Wi-Fi. Probably pronounced like that.
We had a little thing go down on social media this week. Not really a big deal, but so I was editing Beautiful Dangerous, the episode of Beautiful Dangerous, and I look over to my right, and I'm looking over at my record collection, and I see the cover to Blue Oyster Cult. What's the name of it? Agents of Fortune.
Ah.
And as I'm editing, I've got us here. Now, we do record video, and I edit it with video, and then I just delete the video before we publish it. Just makes it easier in the editing process. And I'm looking over at this. I'm looking over at my computer. I get to look it back and forth, and I go, the guy on this album cover looks just like Caputo.
I mean, with the stash now, yeah, I could definitely see it. But
So I took a picture of this album cover, and I tweeted it to you. And I was like, hey, bro, I didn't know you were famous. And got a little giggle. I kind of felt bad because it was like, I'm ripping on my buddy. And like, is he going to take this joke like I'm like friendly ribbing, or is he going to take it as me being an asshole making fun of
yeah,
him? Which
I got a good laugh.
It
I got
was
a good laugh
friendly.
out of it. Yeah.
It was friendly ribbing is what it was supposed to be.
Yes.
Well, I got my karmatic justice at the time we're recording this today, because there's an upcoming video series on the Dustin and CC YouTube channel that's going to be coming soon, also available on gunsradio.com, where CC is going to have a gamer show. And we're going to start making gamer videos because gamer videos are popular on YouTube. But CC is an old school hippie, so she don't play video games. She's going to play odd, or me and CC are going to play odd and strange board games that we find either on the internet or in antique stores. Because we got this idea because we go to thrift stores a lot together, look around. This is where I've got most of the shit you see in this room. And we always see these board games that you never heard of. And so we thought that's going to be a YouTube series. We're going to play these board games and test them out. So while we were, to get a feel for it, I guess, of things I should be looking for, I found, what was the name of that fucking game? Smoker, something to do with smoking cigarettes. It's an anti-smoking game from the 70s called Smoker's Wild. And then I saw the guy on the cover, and I took a good hard look at myself, because at the time I was actually wearing that same t-shirt. And that blue jean denim shirt, I was wearing that at the time. It just got really hot in here, and I switched to a t-shirt before we started taping. But I'm looking over there, and then I was like, yep, that's my karma for saying Caputo looked like the guy on the Blue Oyster Cult album cover is. I get this jackass. So then I pieced us both together. Threw that up on IG.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. But we got a good week here. In just a minute, we're going to take a quick break. You probably won't even notice because, I don't think we've still got a sponsorship deal yet by the time this airs. But we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be joined by Jonsey from Weird AF News, and we're going to chat with him for a bit, and we got a really good show for you guys, so stick around.
Yep.
All right, we're going to take a little pause for a second so me and Chris can tell you about Anchor by Spotify.
Only the easiest way to make a podcast. You got everything you need all in one place.
Anchor has all of the tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer.
Also, hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast to all sorts of listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many, many more.
So it really is everything you need to make a podcast all in one place.
And best of all, you're going to be surprised when you hear this. Anchor is totally free.
When we first got started, we paid for platforms to host our show that were not nearly as good and functional even as Anchor is. If you want to start your own podcast, then by all means, you should download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today.
All right, we're back on the Guns N' Radio podcast. Folks, Caputo had to step out for just a second, but he's going to be joining us again here in just a minute. But right now, we're going to introduce our special guest of the week, the meet and host of Weird AF News, Jonsey.
Hey, Dustin, thanks for having me, buddy. Oh, did you just give me a round of applause? I'm so flattered.
Yeah, it'll be a lot better in the edit.
I trust that it'll be better, sure.
Yeah, we'll put some big band playing in the background, like on the Tonight Show.
Could I get some, could you insert some pyrotechnics as well? I would appreciate that.
Oh, I'm sure we could make some boom boom sounds or something.
Yeah,
like that.
I love that. Well, 4th of July is right around the corner.
Yeah, it really is. Have you got any plans for the 4th?
Oh, yeah, I'll be hanging out in downtown Los Angeles with my former neighbors who every year buy more and more fireworks than they did the previous year. I think their goal is to eventually blow up the entire city of downtown Los Angeles. And I want to be there when it happens. You know what I mean?
Are you allowed to do that down there? I thought that fireworks weren't legal in LA.
They're absolutely not, but people don't listen. And and I'm glad that they don't listen. I'm glad because it's fun. It's fun to light off, giant rockets in the center of an intersection that you're not supposed to be at. You know what I mean? I just love that. I loved it.
There's something about blowing shit up when you're not supposed to makes it more fun, I guess.
I'm so into it. Yeah. It's just, hey, what's wrong? It's just one night out of the year you blow up shit. Who cares, Can't we just all blow up whatever we want one night of the year? No one gets hurt. Well, I mean, there's a few fingers lost, but so what? Nobody dies on 4th of July, unless you're really dumb. If you're really dumb, you die. If you're kind of dumb, you might lose a hand. So it's okay.
It's like the Purge. We'll just take one day of the year, blow a bunch of shit up.
Exactly.
Hit the reset button.
Yeah, I love it. What are your plans for 4th of July?
Oh man, I'm gonna be our show here will be continuing as normal because we're gonna have something in the can for that week. But I will personally be back home in Tupelo. My buddy throws a pool party every year, and by party I mean it's like 4 of us. And
by party I mean there's 4 of us. Okay.
But we take the most ridiculous photos and put them on Instagram. Like last year, the big one that everybody liked was me in my swim trunks with an unbuttoned American flag shirt, holding up the flag in one hand and a sword of all fucking things in the other.
A sword?
While my foot's propped up on a beer cooler.
Oh, that's amazing. You're like the Captain Morgan of 4th of July. Wow, when the hell did you get a sword? Where'd you get a sword? What kind of, was it like a scimitar? What was it?
I don't know. It was one of those like medieval swords. My buddy had it in the closet. He was like, we were getting ready and I'm holding up the flag and I'm going like, yeah, like making that face. And then he goes, whoa, dude, wait. He's like, I got something even better. Hang on. He goes sprinting back in the house and he comes back running out holding the sword.
He's got to, hold on, let me make this more American than it used to be. Let's add a sword to the equation.
I know, right?
A musket, maybe.
A long time ago when Donald Trump was running for president, we found this channel that was like, I don't know what it is, but it's like a southern version of QVC because I was in Mississippi when we found it. And it's a home shopping network. We called it the Home Shopping Network for rednecks, but they sell like knives and hunting equipment. And then like we're watching, and everybody on the show talks like this right here. They had a Donald Trump sword, and the what do you call it? The hand guard was the White House. The blade was the Washington Monument, and I forget what the handle was. But I'm sure it's ridiculous.
This
And
is real?
yes, I swear to God.
This
And if you-
exists?
yes.
Oh my God. I can't
And
believe it.
if you order today, you include a Donald Trump 2016 or Make America Great Again flag that came with it, so that you could have your photo op with your American flag and your Donald Trump sword. And I thought,
Wow. Unbelievable. What about your Mike Pence nunchucks? Do they sell those? I would
I would
order
hope so. I would watch that. I would watch Mike Pence do nunchucks with that bland face of his, that never
Yeah.
changing expression. And then you could compete with that with like Hillary Clinton hand grenades. Like, we could go all day, man. We could.
I love it. Absolutely. Well,
Um,
it's good to be on the show, man. We connected on Facebook, and I love the concept of your podcast because it was so niche and so specific. And I thought to myself, this guy's gonna be cool, man. This guy's gonna be fun. And although we never knew each other, I really had the inclination that being on your show would be rewarding for me, and hopefully for your listeners as well. I hope I bring something to the table here.
oh yeah, man. This is great. I'm excited to have you. Like, it's taken us a little while to organize it because of our timing and our schedules and things. You're out in California. I'm in Missouri. Caputo's in Canada, so
Yeah.
which is just one place, like one neighborhood. It's all one thing. The way I always tell it on here. So, yeah, so it's took a little while to get everything together and get done. But I'm glad that we finally got you here, man. I'm really thank you for being here. I really appreciate that you coming on and everything, saying those nice things. But so now, when you're doing your comedy and stuff, I asked you this earlier before we started recording. You told me that you went on tour with your comedy a couple of times. Have you got any really good tour stories that you want to share with us?
Well, as a comedian, one of the ways to make money is touring. As you know, you're familiar enough with the music scene as well. It's the same deal, except for it's usually a solo endeavor. And because it's a solo endeavor, you can kind of go to faraway places because you don't have to get hotel rooms for 4 or 5 guys. You're just handling yourself. So I've been able to go to some faraway, fascinating places on a budget, and I went to Asia in end of January, and I was there till the beginning of March. I did shows in Singapore, Malaysia, Taiwan, and Japan. And I happened to be there during the outbreak of the virus in all of those countries. So I had a first-hand front row seat to how all these Asian countries handled the outbreak. And unfortunately for me, the later into the outbreak and the later into my tour, the more shows were getting canceled. And I unfortunately lost some money, lost some gigs, but it was an amazing travel experience for me because I had never been to these countries before, and so I got to really push the boundaries with travel, especially when you go to a place when you go to a place like Japan, where nobody speaks English really. The other countries, Singapore, the main language is English. Taiwan, most people speak English. In Malaysia, everybody speaks English as well. But in Japan, that wasn't the case, and so it was. I was really pushing myself by doing that, and it was just a fascinating overall experience to see how the countries handled the virus. They were very, very scared of it from the get-go. They were very cautious from the get-go. Before there was even a single death in Taipei, they were taking my temperature to go into stores. They were requiring masks. Before one death, they were doing these things. Before there was one death, Singapore got the military involved in the situation. Before there was even one death. I mean, in my country, it took 2,000 people to be dead or more before they even made you wear a mask when you go into 7-Eleven. I mean, we handled it the exact opposite way. We were very, very casual about it, and these countries were not. And that was fascinating to witness it all go down. When I got back to my country, I mean, they didn't even take my temperature to enter. And that was happening when I traveled throughout Asia. They were very cautious when you entered their country in customs, and immigration. They They would look at your passport. They wanted to know if I had been to China at all within the last month. They took my temperature. They made me fill out a health survey. When I entered America on March 10th, didn't take my temperature, didn't give me a health survey, didn't ask if I was in China within the last 2 weeks, saw that I entered from Japan and didn't seem to give a shit. You know, and now you see the fallout of this casual attitude toward the virus. You know, now we have over 100,000 deaths, and we're looking at what's probably going to be a second wave because we're opening up at the wrong time, too early. You know, these other countries are still not fully opening up, and they have very few cases. I mean, that's how serious they're taking it, but we're not doing that here. So this tour that I was on really gave me, I mean, in addition to it just being fun to travel to these countries and what is it like to do comedy in Asia, you know, that was a challenge, and that was exciting as well. I got this first eye glimpse into how Asia treated the COVID-19 and how we approached COVID-19. You know, I covered a lot of this on my podcast, Weird AF News, as I was traveling too, you know, letting my listeners know where I was, if I was okay, and reporting on how they were responding to the virus at that early stage. And, you know, the listeners of Weird AF News they're pretty accustomed to me, you know, doing weird shit, obviously, and going to weird places. And so they ate that up. Yeah, so that it was a very exciting tour, and I got a lot out of it. And I can't wait to go back to Asia. Although I don't know if they're going to allow Americans in right now. We seem to be the most tainted of any country right now. I think Singapore isn't going to allow me to go back in, and I don't think Taiwan as well. Malaysia, no. Japan, perhaps, but those other countries won't allow it right now. They won't allow Americans in.
I guess you can't blame them either, though. Like,
yeah, I can't blame them.
When you were there, did you see anything going on like what we saw on the news or anything like that, where they were like setting up hospital beds outdoors and shit like that? Did you ever see anything like that going down, or do you think some of that was overblown?
No, I didn't witness any of that. Now I understand that was going on in China, and I didn't go to China. I mean, specifically,
okay.
Yeah, Wuhan, the center of it all, the epicenter of it. I understand that was happening, but in the countries I was in, they didn't have those kinds of numbers. Like I said, I was in Taiwan. They didn't even have one death yet. You know, and that I was there at the beginning of it all, where there was hardly any cases, and yet these countries were freaking out, man. They were freaking. I mean, everybody at just the announcement of this of a single case in their country, bam, everybody on the subway wearing a mask. I mean, that's how quickly the community like got on board with it, and they were already doing the social distancing, and you know, in Singapore right away, restaurants shutting down, comedy shows shutting down, just even after just a few cases, just a handful. They were very alarmed, and they took it extremely seriously. You know, exactly the opposite of what happened here. Like, imagine the exact opposite. We would never allow that to happen in this country. I mean, we all want our personal freedoms. We don't want to be told what to do by the government or anybody else. You know, I don't want to be told that I can't go bowling or go get a slice of pizza down the street. You know, we equate the American flag with the freedom to do whatever the hell we want despite consequences, and that's really kind of a foolish approach, you know, and it's not indicative of a communal approach. It's more of an individual freedom, and you know, we have to balance that in this country constantly, like individual freedom with the health and the prosperity and the progress of the community as well. And we constantly we go back and forth. But I think in this instance, we should think more of community than our own personal freedoms, because it's dependent upon us to all work together right now and agree to limit the spread of something that, let's be honest, it's gonna kill mostly old people and lower income people. And I think because of that, we're not getting on board with it. I mean, if you were to see all of our celebrities start to kick the bucket, I think we'd all freak the fuck out and agree. Yeah. And we'd all sequester ourselves in our home and want to wear masks and whatnot. But because it's happening to sort of, you know, these groups that I mean, it's so sad to say, but you know, it's happening to groups that just we're just kind of it's not affecting us. We're not really being affected by the true numbers. You know, we're just looking at it as a number. You know, and we shouldn't. I'm sorry for railing on that topic.
No, dude.
It's just
No, man,
something I've been thinking about.
it's important, and you have a view on it that you've been there, like you've been to the places where you saw how it was affected. Plus, I mean, and then you're in Los Angeles, where like, I mean, it's a lot worse there,
Yeah.
even than it is here. So,
Yeah, it sure is. It absolutely is.
so I mean, I definitely understand. But yeah, man, did you have any when you were coming in? Did you have any kind of problems or anything? Did you see any kind of delays with getting back home?
Um, the only thing that happened when I got back home, which was a unique experience for me, was I got after I landed and I was going through customs and immigration back into the States from Japan. I was pulled out of line and randomly selected to be searched for um, livestock and vegetation.
So you're gonna smuggle a chicken?
Yeah, I guess I look like, well, he's coming from Japan. Maybe he's got 2 chickens and a bonsai tree. Uh, that never happened to me before, man. You know, I've flown many times. I've never was selected for a random shrubbery search.
Wait, where was this at? Where did this happen?
Los Angeles
What the fuck?
airport. Yeah,
Wait a minute. So this has happened before. They've got a system in place for searching you for livestock.
correct. And vegetation. So, so I, so I mean, I guess
What
this.
happened? That's what I want to know. What happened to get them to put this protection in place?
I don't know, some guy tried to smuggle 2 pounds of shrimp in his underwear from Japan. Maybe I don't know how it went down. Some lady had 2 squids in her bra. Fucking unbelievable. I so I get it. I get you know, and I'm wondering. I thought, well, I'm from Japan. They're gonna take my temperature. That's what I thought was happening. They're gonna take my temperature because I was in a place where they think maybe the virus was. No, that wasn't the case at all. They wanted to know if I had any chickens or whatever the hell. So I thought I would do the right thing. Now I had 2 bananas in my bag. I got the bananas on the plane. They were giving bananas out as a snack, and I wasn't hungry, but I thought I would save them in my bag and eat them on the Uber ride home or something. You know, I didn't think it was a big deal. Well, they thought it was a huge deal because I told them, I said, hey, you know, I don't have any livestock, but of course, but I don't have any livestock. I have 2 bananas in my carry-on right there, and I mean, they stopped everything. These 2 bananas, like, it was like I must have told them I had you know, a bomb in my bag. I mean, they stopped the line. Some lady came out. She was like, "Which bag is it, sir?" And she pulled it out like it was CSI. She put these gloves on and then goes through and pulled them out like, dude, pulled them out like it was like she was holding, like, I don't even know, like 2 pistols, like 2 9mm. Like she jacked 2 9mm out of my bag. Like, wow. And she goes,
They
you
take
know,
you
I
to
could fine you. She said, you know, I could fine you $300 for this. Well, really? I'm like, hey, maybe you might want to look at my passport, you idiot. I just came from Malaysia. You might want to take my temperature, you dumbasses, instead of taking out my bananas like I'm a criminal. Like, wow, what dummies. You know, this country, I knew at that moment, I'm like, wow, we're really fucked with the virus if this is how they're treating me right now over a banana, you know. Apparently I can't bring in a banana. I can't bring in potassium, but I can bring in a virus. That's okay.
did the SWAT team come in and
So I'd imagine, like, if I ate the bananas, like, I could bring that through. You know, if I ate them, they're in my stomach. I mean, that's okay. Oh, unless if I told them, hey, you know, I had 2 bananas on the plane, I'd imagine they'd be like, all right, sir, more gloves. You're gonna have to bend over for this search. Just
oh my god.
and by the way, nobody in that was working in that department, by the way, I'm just making a note. I'm just letting everybody know for the record. Nobody was wearing a mask. No, not a person. This was March 10th, and we already had like 10,000 cases or whatever. No one's wearing a mask at the airport that works there. How? You in security at an airport? Unbelievable.
Was this LAX?
Yeah, LAX, man.
Okay. That explains
Yeah,
so much more.
It's an armpit of the airports. It's the worst. It's the worst.
And
Yeah.
there he is. There's
There we go.
our boy.
Finally, holy shit. How's it
Welcome,
going?
welcome. Yeah. That was when I knew, and I wrote a whole article about this that went kind of viral on Facebook. A lot of shares, a lot of reads. Thousands of people read this article where I compared how Asia was handling the outbreak compared to the U.S. And it's just so vastly different, man. So vastly different.
That is my.
Yeah, there's nothing funny about it. I wish I could make it funny as a comedian. I can't. It's so sad. I can't even make it funny. I cannot.
It's a little funny. It'll be funnier later when people aren't dropping like flies.
Yeah. We need tragedy. It's tragedy. We need time. Tragedy plus time. I don't know how much time, but we need more. Definitely more time. Pride, March maybe. I don't know. Jesus.
When you go to Japan and you tour and things like that over there, do the people over there have a different? Do you have a different set list of jokes and things that you tell? Do they have a different sense of humor? Like, how do you read the audience when you can't even, when you're not even familiar with the culture that much?
Well, it's difficult. It's difficult. What I did was I had never done comedy in Japan before, so I made sure I was there to watch the whole show. That's what you do. Now, when I do shows in the U.S., I might show up late to the show if I'm the headliner. I don't have to watch the show so much. I'm gonna do my jokes that I've been doing for whatever, how many months or years. That's pretty set, regardless of what the crowd is. They're gonna get my references. I know that already. It's my country. It's my home. But over there, that's not the case. So I had to get there early. I made an effort to watch the show, see what I'm dealing with, see what the comics are doing, what's working. As a comic, is it high energy? Is it low energy? What's the style? I'm watching all of these things just to take in the information and come up with an approach. Luckily, by the time I hit Japan, I had already been traveling for 6 weeks in Asia, and I had developed some material that was Asia specific. It was more an American's point of view as I'm traveling in Asia. It was that kind of material, it was very autobiographical. This is what I've been in your country for how long, or in your continent, and this is what I'm experiencing. This is what I'm observing. This is how they're treating me. And here's why I think they're treating me this way. And here's what I think of everybody that I meet. And here's what I think about your food, whatever. I had developed that stuff. I had written probably 12 to 15 minutes of material about that. And then of my own material, which, there's over an hour of that. Some of it is universal. So not a lot of it, but maybe 25 minutes of it. I could go with, jokes about I have a nut allergy, jokes about being a short guy, that kind of stuff can translate no matter where you are. And then I'm pretty good at crowd work too. So, if I'm doing 40 minutes over in Asia as the headliner, between the 12 minutes I got about traveling in Asia, 20 minutes of my own shit, and then maybe 10 minutes of screwing around with the crowd, I could put it together. I could put together 45 minutes or so, and it would be okay. It wouldn't be like, wow, mind-blowing, but it would be enough to make it through.
That's pretty awesome. That's pretty interesting, though, to think about.
Yeah, and in Japan, I'm dealing with expats is what's going on here. That was the crowd, expats. So that was different. I wasn't dealing with expats when I was in Malaysia. I was doing jokes to people that they're Malaysian, but they just speak English. Same with Singapore. They're
What
Singapore.
are expats? I'm not familiar with this term.
Expat is like somebody from, let's just say somebody from the West who had moved to Asia. So it's somebody from Ireland or the UK or America, like an American living in Japan, you call that person an expat. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you go to so you're standing on stage, you're looking out at the audience, and it looks like you're in like downtown Brooklyn or some shit.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, in Japan, it was specifically the show in Osaka was at and the show in Tokyo as well, but that show was canceled. But the one in Osaka went off. Two shows actually. They're at a British pub, so it's a lot of Brits there, a lot of people from the UK. So still not my crowd. They're not Americans, but still they get it. They get it, and they all speak English, and they know what it's like to be a Westerner in Japan, so they can understand where I'm coming from.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. Where else have you toured besides Asia that had a different kind of style of you had to get a different vibe for it before you continued?
Well, not outside the country other than Asia, really. I mean, unless you count Montreal, but Montreal, it was like the same as America for the most part. I could do whatever material that I could do there. It was no problem. I find state to state can be different.
Yeah.
I'll go to, like, if I find myself in, let's say I go to Arizona, and I don't do Trump jokes, but I've seen a comedian from LA go to one of these states, do Trump jokes, and get groans and get booed. Like they weren't like, get off stage, but they weren't down with it. They just weren't. And so the comedian had to sweep it up and move on. And then the next night he didn't do Trump jokes. It was kind of like that. It was like a learning experience. Like some states, they're just not down with it. You have to pay attention to your crowd in instances like that, of course. Kind of know your demographic.
Right.
If you're doing a show, and right across the street is a church next to an off-track betting place, next to a gun store, you know where you are. And maybe not make fun of Jesus, maybe don't make fun of Trump, and maybe don't make fun of people that carry guns so much. If you have jokes like that, maybe not do those jokes. Of course you're going to get comics who they got a big ego and they want to do whatever the hell they want. You do have comics like that, like, I don't give a damn, I'm going to say what I have to say. But it's like, hey, you know what, man? That's fine if you're not being paid, but you're being paid to deliver some entertainment tonight and be funny. So, like, just be funny. And if that's not funny, then don't fucking do it. You know what I mean? I think there are some comics that don't get that. At the end of the day, if you're paid to dance like a monkey, you better dance like a monkey.
Not wrong.
I couldn't have said it better than this. So we're going to be dancing like a monkey here in a minute. We're going to continue on with Jonsey here in just a minute. We're going to go into Automatic Overdrive by Slash. Do you have anything you want to say before we get into our song of the day? Do you got anything else you want to add in?
Oh, I would like to add that the one realm that I'm really able to completely express myself freely, and I think you guys can agree with this, is my podcast. That seems to be one of the places where just freedom of expression is really allowed. And I really love that about podcasts. I mean, you'll find every point of view on a podcast. People can say really whatever they want, whatever opinion it is, from all backgrounds, all walks of life. And I really have embraced that with my podcast, Weird AF News, as I'm sure you guys have done as well. Your freedom of expression that you have on here is something that I think is untouched by the culture. Lucky for us. Maybe because we're not so our podcasts aren't really killing it like Joe Rogan's or something. I don't know what that is. But, I'll find that even if I do a show for 50 people, there's a chance that I might get some blowback if I'm not being very agreeable. Whereas I really don't get that with my podcast. I get a longer leash. People let me really truly express my opinions, and I really don't get that much backlash as I would with some stand-up comedy. I find that, and so I really love the whole idea of podcasts and the kind of creative freedom that it brings all of us. I can't speak about that enough, man. I just love it so much. It's been a blessing for my life, for sure.
Well, let's talk about music for a second, since before we get into the song. Have you, this being a Guns N' Roses podcast, have you ever been to see GNR live?
I have not. I have not seen GNR live.
Do you have any kind of story of that realm that might be interesting?
A story about a live show, or a story about GNR?
Yeah, that maybe we could link and stitch together somehow to GNR.
Well, I used to do a joke in which I did an Axl Rose impression.
Oh boy.
Oh,
He's going it two ways around here. Let's find out. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. On here.
Okay. This is my impression of Axl Rose doing the Cars for Kids commercial.
Okay.
I haven't done this in a while. This was a joke that I did when I first started. 1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
fuck, that's pretty good.
That is good.
Wow, I haven't done that in so many years, man. Still kind of got. I used to have it much better. Trust me, believe me, it was really on point before. Yeah, I would do one of those long where you think he's ending and then he comes back. Cats for kids.
Hey,
So-
Caputo.
So question, right? So question. Cars for Kids, is that all over the country? Like, do you guys all know? Do we all know what that is? Right? That commercial. Have you heard that?
Oh yeah.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
You get it in Canada too. Have you heard it up there?
Yeah. Oh,
Wow,
all the
crazy.
time on AM radio, you hear that shit.
Wow, 1-877 Cars for Kids is like
Kids, yeah.
countrywide. Wow, so sweet. So I could do that joke in Missouri. It's okay. It's okay.
Oh yeah.
So,
It's good.
Caputo, can we do an impression here of what Axl Rose would sound like doing that nowadays, though? And
Oh.
Yeah, what would it sound like?
Shit. Hmm. More Mickey Mouse.
You know, I think people like when you go to a Bob Dylan concert, right? I don't think you're going there to enjoy the singing so much. I think you're going there to be in the presence of greatness. And
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You don't hear it when you're there. You don't hear it when you're there. And the only time you hear it is when you're playing back the cell phone video that you recorded.
Right. That's right. That's right. So yeah, I think people are going there for a different reason. So it's okay what he's doing. It's okay. I'd imagine.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
okay.
It's still a great show. I like this build-up we're getting here. This like kind of banging rock and roll thing going on. Okay, what the fuck is a paramour?
I was wondering the same thing. Isn't that an umbrella?
I don't know. Let's
I'm gonna Google it. Hang on.
Oh no, that's a parasol. My bad. Parasol.
I do really like the build-up though. They give this song so far. It's got like a lot of build-up.
Who is his who is his singer there? It sounds like a young Sammy Hagar.
It's Myles Kennedy from
Alter Bridge.
Alter Bridge. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, I like this guy. Real throwback. I really dig it. So what is Paramore?
Okay. It says a lover, especially the illicit partner of a married person.
Oh shit. It's the side chick?
Yeah. So, or is he just banging married women or something? I don't know.
I don't know. Either way is fun to me. So
It's like a fancy word for side chick. I think rappers should use this word in their lyrics. You know what I mean?
I
Yeah.
know, right?
Just rolling with my paramour. You know what I mean? Like, fabulous word.
Indeed it is. Okay, this is badass because I really like that. Like, you remember when we listened to No More, No More? A couple of. This is kind of similar. It's got that nonstop kind of vibe to it.
It's just fast paced, right from the get go. Once that like opening riff kicks in, it just like takes off full speed like that.
Yeah, this is badass. I'm really enjoying this. It's hard to do a podcast when it's a good song because we always just end up listening to the song. So I'm having to consciously turn it off so we can make some comments on it.
And like discuss lyrics and such.
Yeah.
It's good. It's really good driving music. It seems to me. I really like this.
That's
Oh yeah, I can see me going 95 on the interstate to this. Okay, so it seems like he kind of cares about this chick, even though she's wild and crazy and is always down to go. So it's kind of got like that in Rocket Queen.
Are you sure? Are you sure he's talking about a woman? Like maybe this is his car he's talking about.
I think it could be about either.
It's like a double entendre. It kind of goes both ways, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. A double entendre. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I like big words like that too. That's good shit. I'm surprised you didn't know what Paramore meant. You're whipping out this double entendre. Holy shit. Canadians, man, they just have a better education than us.
This is true. This is true. And
Double
Caputo proves that.
What the hell?
This isn't the first time Caputo's done this to me on this show.
Caputo, man, I mean, even a Canadian public education is probably better than like a bachelor's degree in the States. Unbelievable.
Oh man.
Yeah, this could be a car. It could be a lady. The thing that makes me think it might be a lady is that this person, he's singing that she's got a disease. I mean, that's the only thing. I've never met a car with a disease. I've met plenty of women with diseases. Don't want to see them again.
Well, it says how many times I tell her that if she keeps running at this pace, she'll be long run out before she ever reaches the light. And that kind of tells me, like, this chick's fast, yeah, and he really likes having a good time with her, but it's like she's a little crazy, man. She needs to kind of slow down this like rock star lifestyle she's kind of living in. She could be a stripper. I was thinking that. Oh yeah. Probably knowing Slash, probably.
So yeah, right. It could be. Mm-hmm. I really like this song, man. This is a great feel good, upbeat, high energy, kick ass track, man, that you could, perfect for driving, perfect for beating the shit out of your neighbor.
That also works.
Whatever you're into.
We're building up to a badass solo, I believe.
Well, I mean, and it has a bridge. I mean, this is old school when they used to have bridges.
Yeah.
Here we go. Oh, yeah. That was the shit.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah, you like how it came out of that solo and everybody cut up with the drums? Fucking great. Oh, go up half a step? Shit.
Yeah. Key change.
This guy's voice is tremendous, huh? Shit.
Oh yeah.
He doesn't have testicles, clearly. Like you can't go up a step like that if you have testicles. There's no way.
Myles has some pops. He gets some pipes. He gets a lot of heat, and he gets a lot of shit inside the GNR community. But I never really understood why, because I've always liked Myles, and I just don't understand that, like why everybody hates on him so much. I get that he's like he sounds great when he's singing a song written for him to sing like this, like because after Myles became Slash's permanent solo band singer for Slash with Myles Kennedy, then yeah, all the songs are written for him. But when he tries to sing like Civil War or a song or an Axl song, he has a little bit of trouble there. Or Sweet Child of Mine or something like that. Before now, they don't cover GNR as much when they tour live as they did when they first got together, because Slash and Myles have put out so many albums together that they can just dip into their own shit and they don't have to go to the GNR well, which it makes sense because Slash is back in GNR. If you want to hear Slash play GNR music, you just go see GNR. So,
exactly. But you got to imagine some people expect to hear a couple of classics when they go see that, you know?
Yeah, they play Night Train still.
Yeah, that's when I saw them last year. They played Night Train, and like people fucking like lost their shit.
Yeah, Night Train sounds like a perfect song for this dude Myles to sing, for sure.
Oh, it's great. Like,
yeah, he kills it on that.
I remember when I went and saw Slash on a solo show. I think it was last year, a little bit before we started this podcast. The right before they played Night Train, he said we got a special guest that's going to come out and join us, and then Richard Fortus came out on stage, and then you hear this smattering of pop in the audience, and like even people that were cheering and stuff when Fortus came out was looking at me going, "Who's that?" And I was like, that's he's in Guns N' Roses, like that's Richard Fortus. But I didn't realize how close he lives to me, and that's cool because I never realized that. Doesn't he? I guess he lives in St. Louis.
I think so, yeah.
So that's really neat because I never realized that Richard Fortus lived just right down the road. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, let's get into ratings. Jonsey, you're our guest. We go up to 5. What would you give this song?
Can I give decimal points as well?
What do you want to do?
Yeah, I'm gonna give that a 3.9. I really dig it. It's simple, and it's hard and fast, and it's like it does what it's supposed to do. Absolutely.
Certainly. Caputo.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna go full 5. It's a kick-ass song. This is ironically probably on my list of songs that I would probably most likely want to get a speeding ticket to while listening to. So
perfect for that. Yeah,
it's literally perfect for that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a kick-ass song. Like I'm never gonna skip this. Like if it comes on like a Spotify shuffle or like I'm listening to like my rock playlist or whatever, it's like something you'll definitely want to play from start to finish. Yeah, so it's a 5 out of 5 for me.
This is a song you could definitely like rollerblade to. I feel like,
Oh,
yeah. Like you get your fanny pack filled with beef jerky, and you just get out there and go.
I want to see sports montages done to this song.
Yeah, it'd be better than hearing Imagine Dragons on CBS.
Yeah,
Fuck.
for sure.
I think the reason I'm going to go with you on this one, Caputo. I'm going to give it a 5 too, which is very rare that me and Caputo here ever give it.
5, huh? You guys are going full throttle.
Yeah,
Literally.
we've done it 3 times now.
Yeah, I think something like very few times.
I think I gave Beautiful Dangerous a 5. I gave it like a 4. So I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't keep up with it. After we rated on the show, I never remember what it was again. But yeah, I would give this one a 5 because this one's definitely going in my playlist now. Before the show, I haven't heard this. I own the album; it's right there. It's just I've never really took the time to listen to the song, and I really like it. And like you said, man, it makes you think of going fast, makes you want to rollerblade. But the part that really got me, the reason, because I was thinking like I had a 4.5. But the thing that gave it that extra 0.5 to me is at the end after the solo where the drums kicked out, that kind of caught me off guard. And I was like sitting here, I was vibing, and then I felt like my vibe was going like this, and it felt like I jumped a cliff, and I'm waiting on the tires to land on the ground again so I can keep going. And That was the feeling it gave me right there when that little break there. And so, like the Dukes of Hazzard, and they jump the thing in here. And then when the guitar comes back in, and for that second time when he said he goes up half a step, that's the tires landing back on the ground, and then the police chase commencing. In my opinion,
for me, I want to put it over the top, but there's just so many unanswered questions about this, and I have a hard time living without some closure here. Like, is this a song about somebody's Mustang, or is it about a dead stripper? What is it?
Well, what if it's about a dead stripper in the trunk of somebody's Mustang?
Hey, all right, now we're talking here.
Now, see, we can hang on. I do this thing, or at least I used to back in the early days of this podcast, where I would take the lyrics and I would try to form a fucked up story out of them.
Let's do it.
See, it says, my baby's high, she's in overdrive, she's a fiend out on the floor. Well, now she's on the floor because she's dead. She's a shot of hate, she's a drop dead parent. She dropped dead. The bitch just literally dropped dead. So now he's getting rid of the body.
Yeah, on the floor. That's what led me to think she's a stripper. She's doing her. She's on the floor now.
There you go.
They're always high strippers, right? I mean,
right.
They got diseases, most of them. I can't.
And it does say, the lyrics do say, her disease I can't ignore. So.
Well, her disease is paying the bills. That's why. Oh shit.
I wish I had a stripper girlfriend that would pay all my bills. That'd be nice.
Yeah, great tune though, man. I really enjoyed this choice, man. I'm gonna add this to my workout playlist. If I ever get back to the gym, this is a good gym song.
Oh yeah, I didn't think of that, but you're right. The only problem,
when you want to put a couple plates on there and you want to put up like 60 pounds, because I'm a beast. If you want to do that, this is the song for you.
60. Yep. I know you say that as a joke, but like my weight's probably like 10. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's spin the wheel. You want to spin the wheel and see what we're gonna do next week?
Oh, you get to spin the wheel, man. I get to be here for that. Fucking sweet.
Oh, fuck yeah, man.
Hey, is that the press your luck sound?
Yes.
Classic.
Okay, so next week we're going to be listening to Ball by Izzy Stradlin.
Back to the Izzy.
Oh, look at that.
Back to Izzy once again. I've never heard this song, so I'd be a liar if I said I was looking forward to it. But hopefully it's a good one. Hopefully song doesn't suck. One more time before we sign off, we want to say thank you to Jonsey here for coming on the show and being with us. Before we go, we're not going to play our usual bit where we play off with the Paradise City instrumental we like to close out with. Instead, before we go, we're going to end the show. Jonsey is going to do a set for us here that was recorded obviously in advance, because there's not like 500 to 1,000 people sitting here to laugh at his jokes that you'll hear and everything. If there was a way we could have just had a studio audience track to go in for the whole episode, I totally would have bullshitted and acted like that's
yeah, do you mind if I plug my podcast before we check out? Yeah. Well, so where people can find me is at Funny Jones on Instagram, and the only thing that I'm doing right now creatively until the shows come back is the podcast, Weird AF News. I do weird news from around the world 5 days a week. On Friday, I only do weird news out of the state of Florida. It's called Florida Fridays. And it is like, if you want to hear some degenerate shit out of the worst state that was ever created, then just listen to the Friday episode. Florida Fridays is just ridiculous, and it's the most popular episode of the week. But just 5 days a week, weird news on Weird AF News. And I just passed 750 episodes and 1 million downloads.
Nice.
I gotta hit that a few times. I haven't played with our sound effects at all this week, so I gotta throw in a couple of Carol Baskin.
Carol Baskin. I love that.
Where can they find Weird AF News? We haven't told them that yet.
Oh, well, on any of your podcast players, you can find Weird AF News, or you can go to weirdafnews.com.
Nice. And are you going to stick around for GN Extra? Can you stick around with us for a little bit longer?
What's happening after this?
The post show, the after show, the wrap.
The post show. I can stick around for a little bit, but I'm pretty hungry. I'm gonna probably make some dinner.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it for this edition of the Guns and Radio podcast. Until next time, I'm Dustin Bonez.
And I'm Chris Caputo. We'll see you all next week. Peace.
In my 30s now, and sometimes I get kind of freaked out about my health. You ever go to the emergency room, and then when you walk in, you go, ah, shit, I didn't have to come here. I totally overreacted today. Yeah. It's happened to me. I went about a month ago, I went for a nut allergy. It's an embarrassing reason to go to the ER, I admit. The guy next to me was there for a stab wound. I was there because I accidentally had hazelnut coffee creamer. He was bleeding. I was itchy. To me, it felt like a real emergency, though. I was like, I'm sorry, bro, but I hope they take me next. As you can see, I'm starting to get a little puffy. Anybody else got the nut allergy? This dumbass disease? This is ridiculous. They should cure this shit, right? I'm supposed to believe this is incurable? Get out of here. We have the most amazing science these days, right? We got self-driving cars. We're all talking about traveling to Mars. Yet a man can be killed by trail mix. It makes no sense. They could obviously cure it if they felt like it, but nobody gives a shit. Yeah, no one cares about the nut allergy. It's true. Now, there's no fundraisers for me. There's no walk for nuts. No one's wearing like a little black ribbon because I can't enjoy Nutella. No one. I want to enjoy Nutella. On a banana? You out of your mind? This shit looks amazing. Unbelievable. I wouldn't care if I was allergic to something that didn't seem so delicious. Like, I wouldn't care if I was allergic to something I never wanted to eat, like, you know, I don't know, like the top of the pineapple. Who gives a shit? I don't want to eat that thing. Looks like it hurts inside my mouth, if we're being honest. That's pretty cool, though. Yeah. They don't got much for me, really. The EpiPen, have you seen that piece of crap? Yeah, the doctor says, next time you eat a nut, right, stab yourself in the ass or the upper thigh with this needle. I'm like, this is it? Like, hey, doc, you got any medicine that when I take it, it doesn't require me to pull down my pants at Panera? It'd be pretty sweet if I could keep my pants on while I'm saving my life. And I gotta keep that pen on me at all times, that EpiPen? That's attractive, huh, ladies? Yeah, I wanna fuck the guy with the EpiPen. Said no one. No one's ever said that. No one ever will. The nut allergy in general, I'm telling you, it's a major cock block. It is, because it's a sign of genetic weakness. Yeah, there's no lady out there like, hey, you know who I'd like to mix my DNA with? That guy that can be destroyed by a scone. Yeah, we're gonna make a warrior together, me. Yeah, you're gonna make somebody who always needs a hoodie. That's who you're gonna make. Yeah. Just for the hell of it, I should get together with a woman who's got a gluten allergy and is lactose intolerant. Just make the weakest human being you've ever seen. Be like, Jonsey, your baby died at the 10th day. What happened? Like, I don't know. We strolled past the bakery and that was it. Should have never taken her out of the bubble, man. Should have never taken her out. The other thing they had for me, I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but when I was in middle school, we had a nut-free zone in my cafeteria. Did you ever have you had the nut-free zone? Yeah. For those of you who don't know what it is, it's ridiculous. Buckle up now. All it was a table in the corner of the cafeteria, and no nuts were allowed over there. And from that moment on, at school, I could never eat lunch with my regular friends. I had to eat with these nut freaks that I had never met before. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. And you can look around your school cafeteria and see the future, right? Like you got the athletes who are at one table and we knew they were getting scholarships, right? You got the nerds at another table. We knew they were making apps, going to drive some Bentleys, right? And then you had the nut table. And we weren't even sure we were going to live through the lunch period, to be honest. I mean, we were just trying to get by, man, You got a 4-year plan, 4-year college? I'm just trying to avoid the walnuts for 4 years, man. Just trying to stay alive at this point. Somebody told me they invented something called cashew butter. I'm scared, man. I'm scared. By the way, there was no security for the nut-free zone. There was nobody keeping nuts out of the zone. We didn't have any nut bouncer of any sort helping us out. This is what they did. They printed out a picture of a nut, and then someone drew a line through it. And they just taped it to the front of the table. Like that sign was supposed to save our lives that day. Yeah, nothing. Any little ninja could have ran by our table and just blew pistachio dust at us. It just murdered us all in an instant.